Welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that you are all having a great week so far. Welcome Keshav. Hi Nurun. Riyadh, good to see you in the class. Fuang Yani, nice to see our members in the class as well. Students, to kick off this week, we are going to be looking at IELTS Speaking Part 1, and we will be looking at the topic of food. A delicious class ahead. So Part 1 IELTS, it's going to be an introduction where you talk about yourself a little bit, explain to the examiner whether you work or study, potentially your hobbies, and then you will be presented with some kind of a general topic. That general topic can be about your studies, about your hobbies, about colors, friends, or in this case, talking about food. So there are always topics that are common to everybody, and they're kind of everyday topics. So even candidates that have a little bit of a lower level of English should be able to produce some speech. This lesson, students, is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. And that's where you can visit us. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. Both of those websites have lots of information. These websites are basically the textbooks for these live classes. They have all of our lesson materials, our exams. So to follow these classes really well and to study later on, that's where you should go. We will use this website in a few minutes to talk to students and to practice speaking part 1. To join the premium package here, simply click that big red button that's just above my head there. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. We have been teaching IELTS for almost 20 years, and I'm a certified British Council agent. Hi, Domenico. All right. I see you've just upgraded your premium package. That's awesome. Domenico, send me an email and I'll hook you up with that premium package access, okay? Welcome, Amrit. Students, we do have a discount code for you. This is from our last week's release, Live 9. That will get you a 10% discount off of the premium package. It's the same for the general IELTS. This is gieltshelp.com. Click that big red button there. That's just above my head. It's a one-time payment, again, for lifetime access. So definitely worth it. Definitely check it out. You'll get all of our practice exams, interactive course, app for your phone. To get the app, you can look for academic IELTS help and general IELTS help in your app store. Okay. Instagram, IELTS_AE help and GIELTS help. And if you have questions, send me an email. My email address is adrian@aehelp.com, or you can send it to admin@aehelp.com. Either one of those will work for you. All right. Yanni, yes, you should have your writing task assessment back in a couple of days. If you don't get it back, Yanni, let me know, and then we'll see what the holdup is, okay? Of course, students, I don't always say this, but if you want, if you like to look at a paper book and study from a paper book, which can be good, especially if you're doing the paper-based IELTS exam, you can get our books from Amazon. Just do a search for A Helps Academic IELTS and G Helps General IELTS, and you'll find our exam books. There's 2 for each one, okay? There, so it's a good way to study for sure. Very important, okay? I know, sometimes these pre-class introductions can get a bit redundant, but very importantly, sorry, I'm still getting over a cold, students, but feeling good. Very importantly, students, daylight savings started last week for us here in Canada, which means that we turned our clocks back 1 hour, and that means that our classes are starting 1 hour later, of course. As you probably, many of you just realized that are already here in the class. That's because of daylight savings. So for me, the time hasn't changed, but for some of you where there's no daylight savings, the time has changed. So we changed our clocks. So pay attention to the UTC, the Universal Standard Time, the class times. Today's class time is 15 o'clock. Tomorrow, we'll have task 2 writing for our members. It pays to be a member of our YouTube channel. So members, task 2 writing tomorrow, and then followed by listening parts 1 and 2 for our subscribers. So definitely subscribe to the channel as well. It's a good idea to subscribe. And later this week, this is good for those of you who are taking IELTS and paying attention, the biggest Discord server for IELTS students. It's IELTS help made by students for students. That Discord server is called IELTS Prep. We are their official partner. They're a great group of people, and we will be doing a class with them on Sunday at 14 o'clock UTC. That will be a speaking class. It's a long link, so I'm going to put it into the chat. It's a free event. I will be hosting the event. Check it out. If you're not familiar with Discord, you'll have to download it. It was created by gamers, but it works really well for other topics. And IELTS Prep, I think, has like 8,000 members, active members, which is quite amazing. So check that out, okay? All right. And then, of course, you can always check out our newest videos. Here's one for you. I'm just going to put it into the chat. Okay. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Check out our newest releases. We've been releasing a lot of speaking videos, but over the next few weeks, we'll be releasing videos on writing and listening as well. So we have lots of great content for you. Okay, let's get into IELTS speaking. So you're here for speaking, so make sure to speak and repeat. Okay, that means copy questions and answers, not just answers. Okay, it's important that you're practicing both questions and answers. Copy my intonation, copy my pronunciation. Anybody know what kind of accent I speak with? So what is my accent? What is my pronunciation? I sometimes tell you this in class, and I'm just curious how many people pay attention and remember this. So here's a kind of a fun fact question to start the day. What accent or pronunciation does Adrian speak English with? Bum, bum, bum. Romelia says it's a Canadian American. Not really, Romelia. I want to correct that thought. There's no such thing as a Canadian American accent. That's kind of a false precept. Chen says it's a West Coast accent. Yeah, Chen, that's probably the most accurate. Corlo says Western American. Yeah, that's right. We would call it a West Coast accent. Okay. Sometimes people say like American or British accent, but that's kind of, yeah, we hear that often, but okay, you can tell if it's kind of an American accent or kind of a British accent. You can hear the difference, but there are some really different accents in North America and in the UK as well. Like if you heard somebody from the southern states and compared it to me, you'd be like, what? They live on the same continent? So yeah, even central Canada, you'd be like, oh, that doesn't sound like Adrian. So we have a West Coast accent here that's kind of like people in Alaska, Yukon, British Columbia, Alberta, Alberta, kind of, Washington, Oregon, California, we all tend to kind of speak with a similar style of English. We move along the coast, I guess, maybe that's why. So, all right, so I speak with a West Coast accent. It's clear, it's precise, it's a crisp accent. So if you're copying it, it's a good idea. It's a good one to learn. When I travel around the world, I find that most people can understand my English quite easily. So it's a benefit of practicing the West Coast accent, okay? All right, so copy me, okay? Copy what I say, copy how I say it. And for those of you who have, good English skills, try to match my speed, all right? The IELTS exam, it's a proficiency exam. It's not an English as a second language exam. So the examiner will speak like me. Keep that in mind, okay? Examiners do not slow down their English. They do not paraphrase their English. IELTS is an English proficiency exam. So the examiner will speak naturally. They will not paraphrase, and they will not slow down or simplify their English during the speaking interview. Keep that in mind, all right? So you have to practice listening to natural English. Okay, so IELTS exam. Go to the exam center early. Practice with other candidates for a good 30-40 minutes, okay? Very important tip. Save a band score. Save one whole band score, all right? Go to the exam 1 hour early and practice your English with other candidates for at least 30 to 40 minutes. Okay? Very important. Shucks Zoda says, how old are you? Oh, here's a good one. How old is Adrian? All right, Shucks Zoda, I'll answer that question. How old is Adrian? What do you think? I've got a baby face. That should help you. Okay, give you a tip. All right, I don't know, Shucks Zoda, if you're asking me that or somebody else, but I'll answer it. I'm checking out the chat all the time while you're doing this. LTD says 37. Corlo says 30. Universal Short says 34. Joaquin Castillo says 38. Daisy Lee says maybe 40s. All right, you guys flatter me. You flatter me. I am 42 years old. I bet some of you are surprised by that. What's my secret? I'm happy. I'm happy. Staying happy and exercise. My secret. I'm happy and I exercise. All right. Some fun questions to start the class. All right. Students, let's get into some speaking. So you're at the exam and you're practicing, you're building confidence so that by the time you meet the examiner, you're like, okay, I'm ready for this. And the examiner will be a man or a woman, often a native speaker, but not always, dressed professionally. And to them, you are a number and you are there to show your best English. And they will say, welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. I will give you instructions for each of the 3 parts. This is candidate number 72814576 and examiner number 95438. We are currently conducting this exam in Vancouver. The time right now is 14 o'clock. Let's begin. May I see your identification? Give me a nice full sentence for this one, students. Again, IELTS exam, start strong, okay? Start strong, start with full sentences. that are polite and professional. Eugen, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. All right, other than getting over this cold, of course. Yanni in the chat. Yanni says, yes, certainly. Please have a look at my passport that I have used to register a couple of weeks ago. Yanni, almost perfect. You have a look not on your passport, but you have a look at. You look at something, okay? So you look at the camera, all right? Yes, certainly. Please have a look at my passport that I have used to register a couple of weeks ago. All right, that's good. That works. Again, students, repeat. May I see your identification? Yes, certainly. Please have a look at my passport that I've used to register a couple of weeks ago. Good, that works. All right. Creative Edge says, of course, here's my passport, which I had used to register. Please take a look at my credentials. Good. That's also good, Creative Edge. Let's take a note of the difference here. The examiners are really good. They pay attention to all kinds of details. Let's have a look at what Creative Edge says here. So Creative Edge says, of course, here's my passport, which I had used to register. Please take a look at my credentials. Let's take a look at Yanni's again. So some people think the examiner is not marking you at the beginning. Not officially, but unofficially they are, okay? So unofficially, the examiner is thinking about your English from the very, very start. In fact, they're looking at your confidence even if before you speak. Communication is very complicated, and the examiners are looking at your communication skills, okay, in the band 6, 7, 8, 9 category, okay? All right, students, Yanni's answer, yes, certainly. Please have a look at my passport that I have used to register a couple of weeks ago. What grammar is Yanni using? It's a good answer. What grammar is Yanni using? Shagzoda, use English, please, in the chat. Okay, it's an English class and not a beginner class either, so you should definitely be using English, okay? Yeah, Hadith, it's present perfect, and the examiner's picking up on that, okay? So the examiner's picking up on that present perfect. Very good. Creative Edge, what grammar is Creative Edge using? Okay, so Creative Edge says, of course, here's my passport. Here, let me make the screen a little bit smaller. Did anybody tell me that you can't see the whole screen? Now you'll be able to see the whole screen. Here we go. There we go. Okay, that's better. All right, so Creative Edge is using past perfect. That's right. With something else. Creative Edge is, and me as the examiner, I pick this up right away, okay? So Creative Edge is using some past perfect with a little bit of extra, with a little bit of what? What else is in Creative Edge's response here? With an adjective clause, right? Okay. So notice how Yanni says, which I have used, okay? And Grammarly doesn't seem to like this, but it's okay. In spoken English, this grammar is completely fine. It's okay, it's clear, all right? And there's that present perfect that I have used, okay? And then that is kind of like the adjective clause here. Here, Creative Edge is using the which. That makes it even clearer that there's an adjective clause here, and then there's the past perfect here. Both are okay in this case, and it's showing complex grammar, okay? All right, let's go to the next question. Do you work or study? Okay, again, repeat after me. Do you work or study? Give me a nice full sentence answer. Okay. Akira says, I am a high school student and going to take, okay, we need another I am there. Okay. So Akira says, I am a high school student and I'm going to graduate next year. Also, you need the subjects, preparing for my main subjects, math and English, which I will take an exam to enter university. All right. Also, I'm preparing for my main subjects, math and English, which I will need to take challenging exams for in order to enter university. Okay, so Akira, a couple of corrections there to make it more natural. All right, so repeat after me. I'm a high school student. Now use the time frame currently. Okay, let's make it even better. So currently, it means right now, because do you work or study is asking you right now. So Akira, currently, I'm a high school student and I'm going to graduate next year. Also, I'm preparing for my main subjects, math and English, which I will need to take challenging exams for in order to enter university. Now, students, notice something interesting here when speaking, especially in the IELTS exam. Here we're using I am, and then here we're using I'm. Okay, so this is called a contraction. All right, I am, and then contraction. It's called a contraction. I'm. Of course, there's many of these in the English language, like I would, I'd. Okay. Contraction, I'd. Okay. Just an important tip so I'm going to be giving you tips and strategies throughout this whole class for getting a great score in your IELTS exam. Here's a good tip for your IELTS speaking. Use the non-contracted version first. In your responses, especially at the beginning, and then contract. Why? Why am I giving you this tip with Akira's response? And Akira, again, everybody, you can just repeat after me while you think about this answer. So why is this important? So currently, I am a high school student and I'm going to graduate next year. Also, I'm preparing for my main subjects, math, English, which I will need to take challenging exams for in order to enter university. Why am I telling you to use the non-contracted version first, like I am or I have or I would, and then use the contraction like I'm, I'd, I've, she'd? Why? Why is that an important tip? Okay. When you do not contract the subject, so for example, I, with the auxiliary verbs like am or have, you do what? What happens? Fuang says it's more polite and clear. It's definitely considered more professional. You sound A, more professional. B, clearer. Absolutely, Fuang. And what else? Thank you, Artificial Minder. What else? Anahita, no, not natural, because we tend to contract. Black Star says more confident. In a sense, Black Star, yeah, it is. It's more emphasis. Okay. So if I say I am a student currently, it has more emphasis than saying I'm a student currently. Okay. So, and you will hear when you listen to native English, you will hear this like, I am going to do this. I'm going to do this. I am going to do this. It carries more emphasis, more strength. So when you want to increase the emphasis, the strength of what you're saying, you do not contract, okay? Then when you contract, and it's a good idea to contract after, you sound natural. So you show the examiner that you can use that and you can sound more natural. But it is a good idea to contract afterwards so that you sound A, more natural, B, more fluent. Okay, so that's why we contract, to sound more natural. Okay, all right. Native speakers use both. It depends on how we want to sound, okay, and how clear we want to be. You will often find that English teachers do not contract so that the students can clearly hear those auxiliary verbs like am and have, okay? All right, so watch those contractions. So again, what am I telling you here? The first time that you use this combination of the subject verb or auxiliary verb, do not contract. The second time, contract. So I will, okay, and then I'll, especially with the will. Be very careful, okay? So yeah, so that's one that definitely people have difficulty with if it's not pronounced clearly, the I'll. Okay, I'll. It's like the IELTS, I'll without the S. I'll. Can you say IELTS? Now take out the S. I'll be going shopping later today. Okay, I'll be going shopping later today. All right, again, lots of repetition, students. Okay, let's try this next question here. What do you like to do in your free time? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer. What do you like to do in your free time? Creative Edge says, usually I prefer to play video games in my leisure time and do exercise in some cases. Why, Creative Edge? Give me the why answer. Parvinder says, I prefer performing house chores, mainly cooking something new, as last week I tried making sweet dish and was successful in that. Parvinder, let's fix that. It's a band 5 right now, and let's try to make that a band 9, okay? I'll take that example out of the chat. So remember, Parvinder says, I prefer performing house chores, mainly cooking something new, as last week I tried making sweet dish and was successful in that. All right, students, take a look at Parvinder's response here. So according to the IELTS, this would be about a band 5. Okay, if you said this nice and fluently, it would be about a band 5. Okay, here's a challenge for you. Can you change this into a band 9 for me? So what can I do to make this into a band 9? Okay, while you think about that, I'll read a few more. Delisby says, in my free time, I spend time practicing tennis with friends that I barely see during the week because of my tight schedules. Okay, don't repeat the word time. Delezy. Care Janet. Don't repeat the word time. So in my free time, I play tennis with friends who I barely see during the week because of my tight schedule. Harjot says, in my leisure time, I like to follow my hobbies, such as cooking and writing stories. Yesterday, I baked a cake for my mom. Harjot, that's a nice response. Fuang, well, whenever I spend time by myself, I usually do workout or yoga. This really helps me both mentally and physically. Like this afternoon, I did an hour workout at the gym. Fuang, nice. Simplify. Be concise. How can I change Parvinder's into a better answer? Okay. Has anybody come up with a way to make Parvinder's better? All right, everybody's still talking about what they do. All right. Let me show you. Use the question. In my spare time, I like doing house chores. Okay? Performing house chores is awkward. It's not natural to say performing house chores, Parvinder. You just do house chores, okay? So in my spare time, I like doing house chores. Mainly cooking a new dish. Avoid the use of something new, right? What do you mean something new? A new dish. Last week, I tried making a sweet dish. To be more specific, chicken pad thai. Okay. And it turned out great. Right? That would be the change from unnatural English to natural English. So always get feedback on your answers, students, and make them more specific and make them clearer, okay? And make them more natural. So this would be the Band 9 version of this response, okay? So Parvinder, original response, I prefer performing house chores, mainly cooking something new. As last week I tried making sweet dish and was successful at that. And here, in my spare time, I like doing house chores, mainly cooking a new dish. Last week I tried making a sweet dish to be more specific, or more specifically, grammarly messed that one up. More specifically, chicken pad thai, and it turned out great. Okay, Parvinder, so that would be your Band 9 version of that. All right, and talking about food and talking about those delicious meals, let's talk about food. All right, here we go. Students, first question, let's talk about food. How often do you eat in a day? Parvinder, you're very welcome. I appreciate your thanking me. Here we go, students. So how often do you eat in a day? Now, the IELTS examiner, of course, asking questions about food could ask you a million different kinds of questions. Here, they like to frequently start with this question of how often. So how often do you eat in a day? So Edis says, actually, it depends on my schedule, but generally, I try to eat food approximately 3 times a day. This is the answer by Edis. Okay, Edis, this would be like a Band 6. If you said it really fluently and clearly, that would be about a Band 6 response. Okay. You want to give more details to make it a higher band score, to show fluency, okay? And to show more lexical resource and to show more grammar. Actually, it depends on my schedule. It depends. Try to avoid that. Okay? Try to avoid saying it depends. It's useless information for your listener. In most situations, this is a tip, everybody. Okay? In most situations, it depends is useless information, and it can be confusing for the listener. So avoid this type of answer. Okay? We commonly call this kind of sitting on the fence. So you're not this, you're not that, it just kind of depends. It's not interesting, it's confusing, it often leads to unclear responses, okay? So you want to avoid it. You want to avoid that kind of it depends answer, okay? Edis, I would answer it this way. Generally is a good way to answer it. It means usually, right? Generally, I try to eat food approximately 3 times a day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just before this exam, I had bacon and egg breakfast at home. Okay? So that would be more detail, more vocabulary. Why can I give you band 9 here if I'm the examiner? Well, because you're showing me vocabulary. You just showed me that you know the word breakfast. You showed me that you know the word bacon and eggs. So it gives me more information, okay, more clarity. Generally, I try to eat food approximately 3 times a day. I try to eat, now if we want to get really technical, you could say I try to eat 3 square meals. Have you ever heard this expression? Square meals a day. Anybody know what square meals means? It's kind of a fun one. 3 square meals. When you hear new vocabulary in the class, students, write it down. What does a square meal mean? Patrick says it's kind of like a full meal. Yeah, exactly. Basically, it's a funky kind of way of saying full meal. It's a square. It's a complete meal. Okay, so it's a complete meal that fills you up. Okay. Usually we believe that it would contain, nutrients and vitamins that are healthy for you. Yeah, Corlo says it's like a satisfying meal. Exactly. That's your square meal. Okay. All right. Now, here's the next question. What do you usually eat for breakfast? Okay. Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. What do you usually eat for breakfast? Koa Duong says, honestly, I usually choose mixing yogurt with some fruits such as banana, cherry, blueberry is one word, and so on for my main breakfast. Okay, it's not a bad answer, Koang. I would say if you said this perfectly, it could maybe even reach a band 7. But if I'm your examiner, Koa, I would not give you a band 9. Why not? What is Adrian going to be picky at? Not just me, the examiner. Okay, so here's a fun question again. What problems does Adrian, that's me, or the examiner, have with this response? So what problems do you think I have with this response? What do you think I'm going to pick at? You're going to be like, Adrian's so picky. The examiners are so picky. Why do they have so many problems? Well, I mean, remember, right? Band 8 means very good user of the English language, and Band 9 means expert. That means you have to be fantastic. So Band 8, very good. Band 9, expert. And that, you have to know every little detail of the English language to get into that Band 9 expert level. So berries are fruits, Javi Dunn. Okay, let me give you a tip. There's two different elements here that I really don't like in this answer. So co-op, one more time. Honestly, I usually choose mixing yogurt with some fruits such as banana, cherry, blueberry, and so on for my main breakfast. Okay, Corlo says, honestly, yes, that's I would pick away at that, right? So do not use honestly in this type of an answer. That's one of my problems. Yeah. And Karina, see, so it's not just me. You figure it out too. And do not use and so on. Why? Why do I say that? So maybe Cole right now is going like, what? Why don't you want me to use honestly? Why don't you want me to use and so on? Why not? What's my problem with these two? What's my problem with honestly? What is my problem with these words, right? Okay. So Ipshita says, and so on is not specific. And Kundan says, there's nothing to be honest about. I'm just asking the guy about breakfast, right? Yeah, exactly. Why would you lie to me about what you have for breakfast? Right? So I know, I get it. It's like, well, you know, but we just use that all the time when we're speaking. Yeah, but not in every context, right? So using honestly in this context is not natural. In my head, as you're listening, I'm like, why would you lie to me about what you have for breakfast? Right? So it's strange. Just a quick tip, students, for IELTS. I would just avoid using honestly. We use honestly when the question is provocative or there's a strong opinion about it, right? Like, do you think children should be allowed to watch cartoons before school? Honestly, I don't think it's a good idea because it's distracting for them and they might become more aggressive during school. So that's where, you know, where you have a stronger opinion, it's provocative, you might use the word honestly, but you don't use the word honestly or the expression honestly for questions like, what do you usually have for breakfast, okay? So why would you lie about breakfast, right? It's kind of strange. The and so on is another one. Do not use and so on because it has no value for your listener. Okay? It just makes them think about the question, what is the and so on? Okay? So here in this case, Koa, it's like, okay, what is the and so on? Strawberries, kiwi, like what else do you mix in with your yogurt, right? So, so instead of this, Koa, I would say, okay, most often I have a cup of yogurt mixed in with some fresh fruits like bananas cherry, blueberries, or cherries, let's say, if we're staying with the plurals, cherries, blueberries, and granola. It's a good idea to put granola in your yogurt. Help your digestion. Most often I have a cup of yogurt mixed in with some fresh fruits like bananas, cherries, blueberries, and some granola. I would say I have this meal in the morning at least 3 times a week. In fact, I just had it today. Okay, that would be your band 9 level answer here. All right, without the honestly and so on. So COA, that's the difference between a band potentially 7, if said very fluently, and a band 9. Okay, so COA, honestly, I usually choose mixing yogurt with some fruit such as banana, cherry, blueberry, and so on for my main breakfast. Versus, most often I have a cup of yogurt mixed with some fresh fruits like bananas, cherries, blueberries, and some granola. I would say I have this meal in the morning at least 3 times a week. In fact, I just had it yesterday. Okay, and notice this 3 times a week. All right, that's called quantification. That's called using numbers. Use numbers, especially when you get the question, how often? Okay. Everybody clear? Does everybody follow me there? Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, Carlos, etc. is the same as and so on, but it's even stranger in speaking because we don't use etc. in speaking at all. It's very, very strange. It's very rare that we say etc. in speech in natural English. Okay, so etc. is even more awkward because it is very rare in spoken English. Okay. Don't use it in writing either, by the way. Okay, so don't use it in writing either, right? Avoid it. Just finish your sentence. So bananas, cherries, and blueberries, period. That's it. It's fine. We can understand that if you don't have cherries, bananas, blueberries, you might put strawberries into your yogurt. All right, I can imagine that. It's fine. Okay, I see lots of thumbs up. That means the information is clear. That's awesome. Students, here we go. We are going to speak with students. Volunteer time, everybody. You can speak to me. And I hope that you will. Okay, the way to do it, go to aehelp.com and register a free account, or if you want to do yourself a favor, register a paid account and get all the materials that we use in these live classes. There's the link in the chat, everybody. I just put that in there. That's the website. Go to the website. This is the website. This is where you should be. Okay. And then to join our premium IELTS course, you can click this big red button there. Okay. You'll get the premium version. It's just above my head there. And if you want to use it for free for right now, just click the green button that's below it right there. Okay. And then you create an account. It's really easy. You just need your email and your username, I think. And then you go into your My Student account. And in your My Student account, you will find lots of great content. So computer-based practice exams, an interactive course, workbooks, study plans, printable exams, lesson videos by the dozens, okay? And then you click on the student partner speaking, okay? So That's this right here. That's just above my head. Student partner speaking, right above my head there. Click on that. Okay. And you will be in the live chat interface. We see Zoraida, Kiki, Navjeet, Sneha, Raquia in here. You'll see me in here too. My handle will be master. You'll see it all in capital letters like that. And then click on the blue envelope that's beside my handle master and send me a request. So say, I would like to volunteer. Can we chat? And then I will do a little bit of IELTS speaking part 1 interview with you. Okay. So let me put on my headphones here. And we'll start with some of the volunteers. I see there are people volunteering. Just going to make sure. Yeah, desktop audio is good on my end. Good. So let's see if Raquaya is here. Raquaya, I'll message you back. Raquaya, are you ready? We've got a good amount of time, students. So, all right. It looks like Raquaya is ready.
Hello.
Hi. Is it Raquia?
Yes.
Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Raquaya?
Rukaiya.
Raquaya. Okay, got you. Awesome.
Yes.
Raquaya, where are you calling from?
I am from India.
From India. India is a big country with many people. What part of India are you from?
I am from Delhi, India capital.
From the capital. All right. Awesome. And Raquaya, why are you taking the IELTS exam?
I am taking the IELTS exam for going abroad and for my further studies.
Okay. Awesome. Well, let me help you a bit. I'm going to ask you some questions and then I will give you some feedback, tell you what your band score would be, and we'll go from there. Okay? Sounds good?
Yeah, okay.
All right, Raquaya. So welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner. May I see your identification?
Yeah, sure. Here it is. Just I have registered a couple of weeks ago. Please have a look.
What is your full name?
My full name is Rukaiya Khatun and my nickname is Julie. Please call me Julie.
Okay, Julie. For part 1, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. What do you like to do in your free time?
I would like to do watching movies and reading books when I have free time because it gives me peace and it relaxes me and I feel good.
Let's talk about food. How often do you eat in a day?
Usually I eat in a day about 3 times. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I usually eat in breakfast like as sandwich and smoothies.
Okay, I'm going to stop there for now. Give you some feedback.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so right now, until this point, as the examiner, I would grade you at about a band 5.5. Your English is quite fluent, so you're able to talk fairly smoothly, but you do get kind of stuck every now and then to think about maybe the most accurate way to express yourself. So I feel like at times you're stopping for just a quick second, but you're stopping for that second or 2 seconds to think about maybe the grammar or the natural way to say what you're saying. which is not bad because you want to be coherent, you want to be clear, and that's a good idea. But it does stop
Yes.
your fluency. And also, some of your answers, you use some awkward English, and at times you're making some grammar mistakes. So you want to pay attention to those. You want to correct those. It's a good idea to record yourself on your phone when you're practicing and then listen back and catch those kinds of mistakes. Okay, so my first tip, Julie, is for the introductory
Yes.
questions. Okay, so when you're introducing yourself in the IELTS, make
Yeah.
sure that you're giving very clean, clear, accurate answers. Okay, so I asked you
Yeah.
the question, may I see your identification? And then you said, yeah, sure. And then you took kind of an awkward pause. And then you said, here it is. And then you said, just I have registered. Just I have registered is awkward English, okay? Um, so here, smooth, accurate answer, okay? So repeat after me. Yeah, sure, here it is. This is my passport I used to register a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, sure. Here it is. I used to register a couple of weeks ago.
This is my passport I used to register a couple of weeks ago.
This is my passport. I used to register a couple of weeks ago.
One more time. This is my passport I used to register a couple of weeks ago.
This is my passport. I used to register a couple of weeks ago.
Nice. Okay. Now you're accurate. So for these first few questions, and this is for everybody, okay, make sure that you practice having a good, clean, clear answer. And that makes sense, right, Julie? I mean, you don't want to
Yeah.
make mistakes introducing yourself because it's very hard to get a band 6.5 or 7 if you're making mistakes in these first couple of questions, right? So you want to be really, really careful with that. Now let's jump to this question. So I said, how often do you eat food in a day? And you said, usually I eat in a day about 3 times. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We wouldn't say it's. The it's is a bit awkward there. Maybe say something like specifically. And then you said, I usually eat in a breakfast, like a sandwich or smoothies. Usually for breakfast, I eat a sandwich and have a smoothie. You drink a smoothie. You don't eat a smoothie. Usually for breakfast, I eat a sandwich and drink a smoothie. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. What's that favorite smoothie in India? It's Lakshi. There's a very famous yogurt smoothie that people have in India. I love it.
Yeah, it's lassi.
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 That's it. Lassi. I love lassi. Lassi is such a good smoothie. Okay, so here we go. One more time. Usually I eat 3 times in a day, specifically breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For breakfast, I eat a sandwich and drink a smoothie.
Okay. Usually I eat 3 times in a day, specifically breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For breakfast, I eat a sandwich and drink a smoothie.
Much better, Julie. Much more accurate. Now, Julie, so what that okay, so now you're like up in the band 7 range, okay? So you move from a band 5.5 to a band 7. And see, just even in these couple of minutes, you're fixing your mistakes very fast, very well. So practice this at home because I have a feeling that you're going to improve really quickly with these mistakes. Okay, so make sure that you get some help if you need it, but check your grammar, check the mistakes, and then repeat the correct English just so you're speaking a cleaner, more accurate English. Okay, Julie?
Okay.
All right, Julie, thank you so much for being my first volunteer this week. That was awesome. Keep it up.
Okay. You are welcome.
Okay. Bye, Julie.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you. That was Julie from Delhi. All right. And it's late there, so good for Julie. Give Julie a thumbs up, everybody. She deserves it. What quick improvement she made there with that bit of repetition. That was fantastic. Support each other. All right. We've got lots of volunteers here. I was looking at Curloose before, so let's see if Curloose is here with us. Curloose, are you ready? All right. We've got volunteers, I think, from all over the world, which is really exciting. Curloose, if you're there, let me know. Curloose says, yep. Curloose, professional English. Every time. All right, here we go. Hello, Curloose. It sounds like you picked up, but I don't hear any sound from your end. I'm not sure if your microphone or computer is not set up right. Make sure, students, that you have your connection set up well. It's we're doing, YouTube and audio, so you need a good connection, good Wi-Fi. Pay attention to your microphone settings, making sure that you allowed your browser to use your microphone and your speakers. Curloose, check it out, try with somebody else, and then come back to me. All right, Sneha, are you ready? Let's reach out to Sneha. We'll find at least a few more students here to practice all these questions with us today. Okay, let's check out Sneha, and I'll bounce around in the chat. Again, students, we're at the website aehelp.com. While I'm waiting for Sneha to answer here, I'll put the URL in. So this is the website. Create an account, and then log in and go to the student partner speaking. Okay, Sneha, here we go.
Hello.
Hi, Sneha.
Good morning, sir.
How are you? I don't think we've spoken in a while.
Yes, sir. I'm very fine. What about you?
I'm getting over the flu, but I'm much better now than I was last week. So thank you for asking. Sneha, can you tell all of our viewers where you are calling from and why you're taking the IELTS exam?
Sir, I'm from India.
Mm-hmm.
And I will take exam of 26th November.
And why?
Sir, because I want to graduate from Canadian university. So I'm trying for IELTS.
Okay. All right. Are you doing bachelor's or master's?
No, sir, I will do bachelor's. I have recently passed my 12th standard in 2022.
Okay. Awesome. High school is done. Check, right?
Yes, sir.
It's exciting. University is exciting. Okay, well, let me help you with that. So I will ask you some questions. Give me some nice full sentence answers. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. Let's talk about food. How often do you eat in a day?
In a day, I eat 3 times, which is I take a breakfast, followed by breakfast. I do take lunch and then dinner. And in between those 3 major meals, I do take some snacks. For example, during my brunch time, I do take some almonds. And before breakfast, I also do consume fruits such as apple, because apple is one of my favorite fruits.
What do you usually eat for breakfast?
In my breakfast, I
Sneha, I lost you. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. I think we lost Sneha. I'm not sure what happened. Battery died, or what can happen, of course,
Yes,
is...
sir.
Oh, there you are, Sneha. I lost you there for a second. I don't know what happened. Did you get a phone call?
No, sir, I don't know why, but my phone turned off.
Okay, there's a disturbance in the force. One more time. What do you usually eat for breakfast?
Um In my breakfast, I usually do eat different colors of fruits because I think that having fruits of different colors is a good idea because fruits of different colors do have different kinds of nutrition, which is very beneficial for building a good health.
Do you like to cook? Why or why not?
Yes, I do like to cook because I think that I have good cooking skills. And apart from having good cooking skills, I think that I have a hobby of cooking food. So I do often cook, and it is my mother that helped me in developing those good cooking skills because she cooks very well, and I know to cook different kind of traditional cuisines of Rajasthan, and I think that I am a good chef.
Okay, I'm going to stop there for a second and give you some feedback, okay? So you're definitely at the band 6.5 level, maybe even 7. Okay, I think some examiners maybe would give you a 7. I would give you a 6.5 or a 7. Depends on how you perform in part 2 and part 3. But you're doing quite well in part 1. I think you can get a definite 7, even a 7.5 if you correct a couple of strategies in your speaking, Sneha.
Yes, sir.
Anybody know here before I tell you this, okay? Anybody know what my main criticism will be for Sneha? Let's see if it's important to be able to figure out what the IELTS examiners are looking for. So this is a question for everybody, and you can answer this for me as well, Sneha, if you can figure it out. So what is my main criticism of Sneha's responses? Anybody know? I think Kundan's on the Kundan and Rumelia have the right idea. Yes, I think so. Yeah, a lot of people tend to have the same idea. Yeah. Do you see what people are saying in the chat? So I'm doing this also, Sneha, so you know it's not just Adrian. It's not like Adrian's the king of speaking and he's the only one that sees it. Other people will feel it too. Do you see what some of the most common criticisms are, Sneha, for your responses?
Yes, I do see that people are saying that I am repeating words, and I do also think that sometimes I do repeat words a lot, and I will definitely work on this. Actually, I am very feeling very overwhelmed when I got call from you when I selected because I was waiting from a while. So that is why I think this could be a reason that I just
It
messed up.
absolutely is, Sneha. It absolutely is, and it's good that you recognize that. So it's really that's always the first steps to improving is figuring out your mistake, accepting it, knowing the reason for it, and then you can improve it, right? So what you're telling me is basically, getting a bit of anxiety and being nervousness leads you to repeat yourself. And yeah, different people have different reactions when they get nervous, right? So some people, they just clamp up. That's the worst. They just stop speaking. It's like, how often do you eat food? I eat food never, right? And then they just stop speaking. That's the worst reaction to have, because of course then you get a really low band score. And that happens in the real exam too, because people get nervous for their IELTS exam. So when they meet that examiner and they're sitting there face to face with that person, it's intimidating and it's stressful. So one of the great ways to get rid of that stress is to, be in these live classes to practice with me. And then you get more confident and comfortable, right, Sneha? So it's a
Yes,
good
sir.
start. So keep volunteering, keep coming back, keep practicing. Another really good strategy is what I said at the beginning of the class. Go to your IELTS exam center early and find
Yes, sir.
some strangers to talk to. So, and I don't mean like the weird guy at the corner store, but like other IELTS candidates that are waiting for their IELTS exam, you will see them. When I went and did my IELTS last time, I saw at least 5 or 6 people waiting for their IELTS speaking. So you'll see people waiting for their speaking exam, and go up to some of them and say, hi, I'm here for my IELTS. Are you here for IELTS? I want to get some confidence and practice. Can you help me? And I'm sure somebody will say, yes, of course, let's practice. All in English, okay? So don't use Hindi or Punjabi. Just speak English, okay? And then,
Yes, definitely, sir.
and then that will help you to be confident, so you're not repeating yourself so much when you're speaking to the examiner, okay? So decrease that repetition, and I think you will immediately improve by half band score, okay? Don't overcomplicate. So let me just jump back to this first question. I said, how often do you eat in a day? And you said, in a day, I eat 3 times. That was good that you used the question, by the way. You said, in a day, I eat 3 times. And then you said, I take breakfast. It's British English. That's okay. In American English, we usually say, I eat breakfast. But British people like to say, I take tea or I take breakfast. It's fine. I take breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We wouldn't repeat the I take, or the I eat. It's just I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that verb will modify all 3 of those meals, okay? And I have some snacks in between. Why? To keep my energy levels up and to stay happy. Yesterday, I had a chocolate bar between lunch and dinner. Okay, so practice repeating this after me, Sneha. In a day, I eat 3 meals. I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I have some snacks in between. Yesterday, I ate a delicious chocolate bar between lunch and dinner. How often do you eat in a day?
In a day, I ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I do. Sir, I cannot see your live class.
You don't have to see it. Just do it from hearing. Sneha. So,
Okay,
and
sir.
I have some snacks in between. So one more time. I'll say it one more time. And this is a tip for everybody. So not just for Sneha. This is for everybody, okay? When I'm getting you to repeat, pay attention to the idea. You don't have to read it. Try not to read it, okay, when you're repeating. So in a day, I eat 3 times. I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I have some snacks in between. Yesterday, I had a delicious chocolate bar between lunch and dinner.
In a day, I eat 3 times breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I have some snacks in between. Yesterday, I had a chocolate bar
Between lunch and dinner.
between lunch and dinner.
Okay, good. That's better. That's what you want to do. Non-repetitive, clear visual answer, explanation, example. And then Sneha, you will pass with flying colors. You get a band 7, 7.5. You have very nice pronunciation. You have good word choice. Okay, so you're doing great. Just avoid that repetition. All right, build that confidence. Sounds good?
Yes, definitely, sir.
All right. Any questions, Sneha? Yes?
Sir, I am explaining the answers clearly?
Too clearly, too much. Okay, so yes, you are, and like I say, too much. So you're repeating yourself. So you don't have to say so much. I have a feeling that if you do this in your real exam, the examiner might. Some of them will definitely interrupt you. So and that's the problem with repetition. If the examiner feels like you're repeating, they will start interrupting you as soon as they start hearing that repetition. So that's another really important reason to avoid repeating yourself, is so that they don't interrupt you. Okay. All right.
Okay, sir. Sir, alas, I just want to say that you are doing a very good job, and you're creating a good impact on the society by helping us. You're just brilliant.
Thank you so much, Sneha. I'm flattered. You're very kind. Hang in there and keep volunteering, okay? Up until your exam. So we'll talk again.
Yes,
Bye for
yes,
now,
sir,
Sneha.
definitely, sir.
Sounds good. Bye,
Have a
Sneha.
good day, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, that was Sneha. Give Sneha a thumbs up. Yes, she is fast, Florence. I agree with you. Her fluency is very, very good, right? Okay, nice. Let's keep going here. Let me take someone kind of from lower in the list here. Maybe somebody new. Reuben? I don't think we've talked before, Reuben. Let's see if you're here. Are you ready? All right. Ruben, and thank you for the thumbs up. Even some flowers from Suman there for Sneha. Ruben, if you are ready, let me know, and we will have a bit of a chat. IELTS speaking part 1, focusing on food. Hang in there, students. Hang in there. You never know who's coming up next. Here we go. Ruben. Hello, Ruben.
Hello. Hi, this is actually Monica. I logged in with my friend's account, so the name got mispronounced.
Okay, all right. Then I will call you Monica. How are you, Monica?
I'm really good. How are you?
I am on the mend. I'm getting better and better, getting over this bad cold. Monica, where are you calling from?
I'm from India again, from South India,
From south
from
of India.
Bangalore.
From Bangalore. Okay. And why are you taking the IELTS?
I'm taking IELTS to do my master's, hopefully in Australia or the UK, not fixed yet. So yeah,
Okay. Sounds good. I will help you with that. So we're focusing on part 1. I will ask you some questions. Give me some nice full sentence answers. Okay.
will try my best.
All right. So here we go. Do you like to cook? Why or why not?
Recently, I have actually created a passion about cooking. I have started cooking and baking as well. I started cooking because I've taken up from my mother's. She makes really good food. So I would like to try new dishes, try my own food and make it better, improvise whatever I've tried from the restaurants. So yeah, that's my new passion now.
What is your favorite food and what do you like about it?
There is one famous Indian dish called butter chicken and naan. That's my current famous. That's my current favorite dish.
What do you like about it?
The consistency of the gravy or curry, and also how soft the chicken gets because it gets soaked in the gravy. And with the naan, with usually it goes with butter naan or with garlic naan. So the flavor with all the spices in it, it gives a lot of flavor and like authenticity to it. So I think I really like that about butter chicken and naan.
If you could eat any kind of food, what would it be and why?
I would, if it was any of the fast foods, my go-to food would be pizza. But if anything, if it's like home food, it's dal and rice, which is basically like one of the spices in India. So that and rice, and also maybe curd rice. The basic essential Indian food.
Okay, that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you a card with some questions. You will have 1 minute to prepare your answers, think about your responses. Okay, but we're not going to do that. We're going to stick to part 1. That's what happens after you finish part 1. So first of all, I'll give you your band score. So I think your band score would be a solid 7.5 based on your fluency, your pronunciation, based on your lexical resource. So based on your vocabulary, based on your pronunciation, based on your fluency, you would easily get a 7.5. My biggest issue with your responses is with your content. So it's with what you're saying or the way that you're answering the question. With your English, you should be able to get a band 8 or even an 8.5, maybe even a 9. Okay, if you really practice the right structure and the right answers, all right? But you should definitely be in the 8 to 9 category. You just have to give me better answers so that I can give you points for coherence, grammatical range, and accuracy, okay? Because that's where you're losing your marks, is the coherence, grammatical range, and accuracy. Your pronunciation, your vocabulary, your fluency, that's easily up in the 8, 9 category. Okay. So let me show you what I mean with your responses. Okay. So I asked you the question, do you like to cook? Why or why not? And then you said to me, recently I have created, I couldn't catch that word clearly. You said, recently I've created a batch about cooking. What was it that you said specifically?
Passion.
Passion. So recently I have created a passion. Okay. About cooking. Okay, it's a little bit unnatural, but I'll correct that. So you had a couple of sentences that were slightly unnatural, but they weren't terrible. I'll correct it in a second. Okay, this should. So, do you like to cook? Why or why not? I would answer. So it's a good idea to answer the question very directly. I love to cook. Okay. That way you answered the question and it's really clear for me. Like you say, okay, I love to cook. Here's the natural English. Does anybody know, by the way, before I tell you right now, Monica, how to say this, does anybody know what the expression is in English when we have a passion for something? And I'm trying to say it without giving you the answer. So when we have a passion and we just found it recently, how do we express that? What's the expression used in English? It's called a something passion. Not fell in love. It's a different verb. Do you know what it is, Monica? I have
really.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit of a hint here. I have a new, and then there's a verb that comes in here.
Oh. Maybe new interest.
No.
New.
Couple people in the chat are close. It's newfound.
Newfound
passion. So we say, I have a newfound passion for cooking. Okay. So I have a newfound passion for cooking. And Grammarly's saying it should be one word, newfound. I have a newfound passion for cooking. I recently started cooking every day because I have taken up, I have learned some dishes, let's say. Learned some family recipes from my mother, and I like to create new dishes based on foods I eat at restaurants. Okay, so let's do a little bit of repetition, and this repetition is for everybody. So here we go. Listen to the response and then just copy after me, Monica. And Monica, at your level, you should definitely try to repeat this from listening only, not from reading, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. So, do you like to cook? Why or why not? I love to cook. I have a newfound passion for cooking. I recently started cooking every day because I have learned some family recipes from my mother, and I like to create new ones based on foods I eat at restaurants.
Okay. I love to cook. I have a newfound passion for cooking. I recently started cooking every day because I have learned some family recipes from my mother, and I like to create new ones based on foods I eat at restaurants.
That's your band 9 level answer. Okay. So that's that level of natural, clear, accurate response. Okay. And then I asked you, what is your favorite food and what do you like about it? As I'm sure you're aware, the answer was too short, right? That's why I had to ask you, what do you like about it? Now be careful because, Monica, in the real exam, some examiners will ask you. So some examiners will say, and what do you like about it? So they'll give you a chance to answer that again. Some examiners won't. So some examiners will just go to the next question and say incomplete answer. Okay. So make sure you answer the question fully. Okay. So you said there's one famous Indian dish called butter chicken. Can you pronounce this for me, Monica? Butter
Chicken naan.
Yeah. Butter chicken and naan. Okay. That is my current favorite dish. And then when I asked you what do you like about it, you gave me an amazing answer with the gravy and the soft tender chicken. You have to include that in your original response, okay? Okay. So don't be shy. Make sure to answer the full question. Okay? Don't cut it short. And then the next question I asked you, if you could eat any kind of food, what would it be and why? And you said, if it's any of the fast foods, my go-to would be pizza. And then you said, but at home I would eat traditional food. Okay, don't jump around. Okay, if the question is asking you for a food or your favorite food, just stay with one. So let's stay with pizza. Can you answer this one for me one more time and just stay with pizza? Give me the reason for pizza and give me an example of where you would love to have pizza. Okay, so try this question one more time. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, if you could eat any kind of food, what would it be and why?
So, the one kind of food I would like to eat more often is pizza. Maybe because it's every child's favorite food, and also like the flavors that it comes in, the different types of flavors that it adds upon, and the dough, the crispy dough and the cheesy dough.
Now give me an example. Where in the world would you love to eat the best tasting pizza? Give me an example.
Yeah. So coming to the best pizzas that I've had, there is a place called Brick Oven that I've had from. So it makes pizzas baked in the wooden oven. So it's like it burns around the crust part, and then it's very softened and then thin towards the pizza base part, and then the sauces that they add are like
Okay,
really.
don't keep talking though. So Monica, you want to,
Yeah.
you've got the right idea, but you need to be concise, right? So this would be my upgraded version of your answer, okay? So if I could have any kind of food, it would definitely be pizza, simply because it's so delicious and has so many different flavors. One day I dream to have a Napolitan pizza on the streets of Rome in Italy.
Correct.
Okay, do you follow me there? So very visual, very clear, answers the question, doesn't go off track, doesn't repeat itself, doesn't get confusing. It's just very specific. Answer, explain, example, right? Try it one more time. If you could eat any kind of food, what would it be and why?
Okay. If there's any kind of food that I will like really repeat, that maybe would be pizza. Maybe because of the different flavors that they come in, and different type of countries have different ways of pizzas. And okay, I just kind of
No, no,
lost.
no, good. No. Keep going. That's the trick, right? You keep going and you keep trying until you get it right. Give me the example.
Okay, so maybe the example is my favorite pizzas is from a place called Brick Oven. Not only is it delicious because it comes from the wooden oven, but also there are other places which is like really good for its authenticity from where it comes from, maybe Italy and all that.
Okay, still a little bit wishy-washy near the end there, but you're getting the right idea, right? So my favorite place to get pizza is Brick Oven because it comes from a wood oven and they have the best mozzarella cheese. And then stop, right? So really find that flow, Monica. Really find that flow of answer, explain, example, stop. And keep practicing that for your exam, and I'm sure that as soon as you master it, and you will, it won't take too much, so as long as you're doing it every day for a few days, you'll start to master it. You're going to get up into that band 8 to band 9 range, okay?
Correct.
All right, Monica, keep it up. Thank you so much for volunteering, and you made me hungry with all that talk about pizza.
Pleasure.
Bye for now, Monica.
Bye.
All right, that was Monica. I wonder, did anybody else get hungry talking about all that pizza? All right, students, I'm going to stop there for today, but it doesn't mean you have to. There's about 30-40 of you in this speaking chat interface at aehelp.com. There's so many of you in here right now. I highly recommend connecting with each other. So just like how you connected with me, sending me a message, hi, would you like to practice? Up here, you have some questions that you can use, okay? And for those of you who are enjoying these live classes, make sure to visit our website, aehelp.com. Make sure to join our premium IELTS package. You can do that by clicking this big red button here. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access, and it will really help you with your IELTS exam and your scores. You can connect with other students. You can get practice exams. That is where you want to be. General IELTS, gieltshelp.com, green background. Click that big red button there. Tomorrow, students, I will be back with more IELTS lessons. Members, we will be looking at a new Task 2 writing question. We'll be going through it. I will be showing you how to write a Band 9 essay. What are the steps and expectations for that? And then we'll have a listening exercise, part 1 and 2. Those listening questions, the listening audio will come from the website. So you can find it there as well in the full course, aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria for now. But I will be back tomorrow with an earlier class and a class that will start around this time. I hope all of you have an amazing rest of your day and a good night's sleep for those of you who are in the later hours. Bye for now, everybody.